Today, we deep dive into Sam Altman and all of his collaborations. That includes Apple. That includes the Chrome browser negotiations. That includes his fight with Elon Musk this week live on the Everything app. And that also includes Elon Musk's potential to sue. He's annoyed. He loves to whip out a legal case, and we may see an antitrust legal debacle with Apple and with OpenAI. So we're waiting to see that. But not only that, we're going to dive into Candace Owens and Macron. Supposedly, she is looking at the possibility of 4M, that's 4 million, on the markup of legal fees if she takes this motherfucker on. So everyone start funding Candace Owens, please. She needs support. Next, we're going to talk Proto. We're going to talk Proto Rig. We're going to talk about Proto Fleet. If you don't know what the fuck that is, are you living underneath a rock? That's part of the XYZ. That is part of the block. That is indeed Block Inc. That is run by Jack Dorsey. Wake up and spell the JavaScript. Not only that, Ethereum hit 4,400 USD. Woo! Baby, it is beautiful. Let us keep going. Not only that, we're going to tap in on the fact that Google hack rewards have reached an all-time high at $250,000. That's correct. $250,000 was given to a hacker who has managed to break into the Google system. That's what we like to see. Not only that, Florence and the Machines are teasing new music. We're going to tap in on that. And Trump and Putin. We are all talking about the fact that Trump and Putin got into the beast together and drove off in Alaska. We're going to look at the highlights of all of that. Not only that, I just want to acknowledge the fact that there is a black Scottish man trending on TikTok. If you like the Scottish accent, if you like the black masculine appeal, dive into that. I wouldn't promote TikTok, but let's just say black Scottish men do exist, and they sound fantastic. Next, TikTok regulations. We're going to tap in on that. That is September the 13th with their new terms and conditions. But not only that, on the 17th of September, we are now reaching another milestone of, are we going to close you down or not? And Trump keeps extending it. We're going to dive in on that. Not only that, we're going to need to speak about the Cryptocrash King, aren't we? Do one, pleads guilty to fraud. So we're going to have to go there. We're going to have to go back to 2022 really quickly. We're not going to be here forever. Don't get upset. Come on. Take time to relax. We're going to dive in here. Not only that, after we get through that, if we've still got time on the clock, guess what we're going to do? We're going to give you a sexy, gorgeous NFT overview, because currently NFTs are valued this year at a possibility of 34 to 61B. On the markup. So we want to know what's going on. There was a downturn in the NFT community. Is it spinning around? We're going to speak on that. But as we speak on that, we've got to address something else in the field. Rug pullers, scammers. So we're going to dive into the financial market scams of 2025 and keep our brains awake and conscious of what the fuck's been going on in the field. Hit subscribe, hit like. We're about to deep dive. Okay, let's dive straight into the Sam Altman. Now, the Altman debacle does not stop debacling. I'm choking on my words. I know. My goodness, let's do that again, shall we? Now, we already know that Altman is in collaboration with a previous Apple designer, and he's producing this I/O product, which is a hardware AI piece. This has been in conversation. There's a legal issue around that because supposedly another corporation with a very similar name already came to him with the idea, and he's shown the emails live on Twitter, on X. He's acting like, you know what, it's not a big deal. We had the conversation. He's hungry and thirsty. Like Altman's playing the character of he's thirsty for a bit of us and we turned him down, right? Not a good look. Spoke on this earlier in my posts, but now we've got more issues. Apple and OpenAI have a collaboration. They announced this collaboration on June the 10th, 2024. This was at Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference, right? This partnership integrated OpenAI's ChatGPT, powered by the 4 at the time. That's the GPT-4 model. My goodness, I'm full of it today. Into Apple's ecosystem. Specifically the iOS 18, the iPad OS 18, and the Mac OS version at the time. Now, the integration enhances Siri's capability, all of this good stuff they're screaming about, allowing it to tap into the AI intelligence for complex queries. We've got better user permission, and the way that data's being shared and sent. There's a speaking about writing tools to create better content generation, and really privacy protections were supposedly enhanced with this, and they were saying requests are not stored by OpenAI and IP addresses are obscured. Now, since this, we've seen Tim Cook already align with the White House. We've seen Sam Altman do the same. So we've got a deepened partnership with Apple as they now integrate AI features like ChatGPT into Apple's ecosystem. Now, this is complicating Apple's relationship with Google. Details are sparse, but the collaboration aims to enhance users' experiences with AI-driven functionalities, positioning OpenAI as a key player in consumer tech. Now, this is really, really complex because now we move into an era of a conversation this week, which isn't confirmed by any means, but we've seen recent reports stated that OpenAI is launching its own AI-powered browser built on Chrome, or Chromium, right? To rival Google Chrome. But only the conversation occurring this week was the potentiality that Chrome could be that piece instead of being the rival. It has been expressed that buying Chrome could be the way for OpenAI if antitrust allows it. And there are issues around antitrust right now, and Google and Chrome, them as separate entities. So this is a really, really crazy conversation to be having. No way, shape or form could I see this going ahead without it being an outright antitrust issue. It's clearly an issue. It shouldn't be happening, but there's push here, right? Sam Altman has expressed interest in acquiring Google Chrome if US antitrust regulators force Google to divest it due to its search monopoly. But when I hear that, I go, what bollocks is this? Because if this is the case, then what about your monopoly? Because computer says no, it's not adding up. No, right? So we're waiting to find out exactly what's going on here, but we can say a failed attempt to partner with Google on ChatGPT search capabilities has been confirmed from an executive at OpenAI already, and OpenAI is also developing its own AI-powered browser to challenge Chrome, which is already spoken about last Q, and it's expected to launch soon. And it's attempting to challenge Chrome's 60% plus market share as well. No wonder my best mate Elon Musk is pissed the fuck off. Because this week, a public feud erupted on X between Sam Altman and Elon Musk. Musk accused Apple of rigging App Store rankings to favour OpenAI's app, calling it an unequivocal antitrust violation and threatening legal action. Altman retorted, alleging Musk manipulates X's algorithm to boost his own companies, demanding Musk sign an affidavit denying this. Now, it was juicy. This spat rooted in their rivalry since co-founding OpenAI together, escalated over AI contract battles and personal jabs. Because after that, Elon screamed, "Bullshit! You are a liar, mate. Prove it." Sam was quiet after the fact. And Elon had no problem calling bullshit on that statement. But do you know what? I do find it very, very interesting. Because the more I start to do these podcasts and I dive into grabbing the trends of the week, I use AI. And what OpenAI feeds me, what Grok feeds me, interesting. And it does appear, and we're going to analyze this over time, and we'll do more pieces on this, some more futurism pieces, a look into the future of AI output, into the narratives that I'm being presented. Sometimes I can't find anything on a specific topic at one location, but if I pop off to another location, I can find it. Can we say that that is a manipulative stance, or is it just algorithm? And that's going to be a repeated conversation we have across antitrust, because it's these grey areas of the unknown. Is someone fucking with that on the back end, or is that genuinely just the way it's being output? And who is anyone to tell? Coders, programmers, all of us devs, we can do what the fuck we like. And we can skew shit to the left or the right. The human is inputting the data to a certain degree. We built the code to start with. Do you know? All this shit is scripted. All the world's a stage and we are merely players in it. Yeah? All of that. So moving on a little bit more with that, let's quickly tap on the Elon. I'm not sure what Elon's going to do yet from my understanding, but Elon Musk announced plans to sue Apple, claiming that the App Store unfairly promotes OpenAI over ChatGPT. Now, I love community notes. I think they're incredibly sexy and powerful. I was really pushing for that when I first arrived on the system in 2021, when I was just coming at all of the legal officials at the top of the chain, like, where is the community note of the conversation, please? Now that's in place, strong and beautiful, big fan of what it's doing, but it was juicy because the moment that Elon tweeted that, the community note screamed bullshit on that. I'm not gonna deny it. It listed all the people that also, all the other companies, should I say, that also made it to the top over the last queue. And there was quite a few there. But the truth of the matter is Grok wasn't there. So there are questions to be asked about the integrity of systems. That's the point. And we're going to keep an eye on the legal cases going around him. And antitrust is really amping up. And what I said earlier on in one of my earlier podcasts, guys, go back into the field of podcasts and see what you do find, right? I did say antitrust is incredibly dangerous. I'm a massive advocate for it. I sit in the field for it with a school of hermitology, but it can be skewed left or right. It can be skewed left or right. Antitrust isn't even a real regulated field. The management of the situation isn't really there. It's just people pinning and pointing and poking because they feel like they're being treated unfairly. It's a messy minefield at this time, and it does result in awkward situations. It's a little bit like the Gary Gensler era of SEC, where we don't know what we're doing and everyone's trying to pin the tail on the donkey, and Gary Gensler gets the blame for the whole shebang, but he's only trying to work with the legislation and data he's got, and that's what's happening here. And there is going to be a figurehead of antitrust that comes up as the leading figure, and they're probably going to get the Gary stick, to be honest, because someone's got to take the hit. But it's just, it's time. It's clarity, and it's on every single corporation to do the work for themselves and be clear on their own legal. Once again, I'll keep quoting Warren Buffett over here all the time. He says it, show the government the way, teach the government. If you've got the tech, if you're building something that's not aligned to the regime, show them how it works, yeah? Make sure that there's everything you need. Bolster your government, bolster your local community, bolster your tech in line with the infrastructure that is not moving. And actually all government are now reshaping systems, so we can take that in and go, hell yeah, there's room here. So government know that every system around the world, everyone knows the systems on earth are broken. We've known for a while, we've known since COVID, yeah? The cooperative void was about the broken systems that we're all living on and the severity of that over time in relation to AI and the danger that imposes as AGI evolves. So knowing these things are incredibly important, and it comes down to us because the smartest people in the field right now are building new. from the ground up. And they're going back down to the roots, the origin of the system that is governmental and centralised, and building off of that frame up again. That's the only way. We start from scratch. Numero uno, I want to say. That's the O1. That's the original source code, okay? We start again. A lot of people at the top of the chain can't do that. Richest people in the world can't do that. Solidified, constructed, centralised companies can't do that. Innovation is rare, yeah? But those that can will prosper long term because of this move now. It's powerful. It is the way. Start going back down, and it's divergent and anti-clout, anti-commercial, the least popular route you can go down, because everyone expects you to follow a very linear path. I'll tell you a quick story as we dive in here today. I was out in the forest this week, and as I frequently am, I was walking, and I just appreciated the ground. There was lots of different trails that people have made. When you're walking in the field, there are paths that have already been trekked. They're worn out. I don't like to run on the paths that are really worn out. It's not as comfortable. It's a little bit more jiggedy. There's more stones. There's more irritation on the base of my feet. So I like to move quite close to the trail, but not directly on the trail. And the neuro in me, the natural quantum mechanical self, was really involved in that vision of immersiveness in the mind in that moment. I was going, look at this. We're all breaking trail. We're all going this way or that way, or herding down the same path together. And what a beautiful, more luxurious journey it is when we just go a little bit off that broken trail. Much smoother journey, much nicer run, much nicer stride, much smoother on my feet than trekking that same worn out path that everyone's already been on, or wading through a path that's never been made before. Find the balance, find the equilibrium for yourself, and that's what's happening here. This is also annoying because supposedly, right, suddenly, I don't know how long this has been going on in the background, but supposedly now Sam, OpenAI CEO, is moving in towards chips to rival Neuralink. Are you joking me? Is this a joke? I've already got concerns since the start of time when we had backdoor summits about AI with big tech, and when Sam Altman lost his seat as CEO, when the dangers really arose about the systems and servers that exist at OpenAI, and staff at OpenAI chose to walk, right? And half of the board left. Then they brought him back in. We're just going to wash that. That's not a big deal. We're going to keep going, are we? You're not even super aligned, but you think we're going to let you come out the gate with chips for brains. And the thing is, it's different with Mr. Musk because he's choosing to actually help people, and he's starting an initiative that focuses on people with disabilities. We're going into a healthy place. We're not saying that's not going to evolve. We're not saying that isn't part of the long-term plan, and we're not going to say Mr. Musk is the most innocent man in the world. Come on, we're not being naive. But what's Sam doing coming straight out the gate to put chips in normal people's brains? That's what you're saying. With everything else he's done. Copyright material all over his history. His rap sheet is full of copyright. Do you think I want that motherfucker copyright in my brain? Next. Now, Candace Owens and Macron's legal battle. Let's have a quick update. Now, this has been absolutely ridiculous. President Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte Macron filed a 218-page defamation suit in Delaware against Candace Owens, citing false conspiracy claims that she made about Brigitte Macron. Yeah. Owens responded, stating, "I will not be silenced," and Macron is not going without a fight. We're looking at 4M legal fees that Candace Owens may have to pay because she has long been claiming that Black Brigitte is transgender. And that was initially a man. Now, the reason I haven't dived into this story is because Coming out is a real thing. Outing someone is a real thing. There's accidental issues of outing someone, and there's a lot of confusion in the culture about outing someone as gay, bi, non-binary, queer. We can out people. Certain people don't want their business out on Jump Street. I don't know about the Brigitte thing. Everyone was screaming it for ages, and supposedly Candace Owens had evidence to say that this is genuine, but I haven't seen anything directly presented on the timeline that's pulled up on me as of yet. So if any of you have got the facts and the source, put it in the comments below. Retweet, share that, at me about that, because I would love to know more. But the truth of the matter is the case is going ahead anyway, because Candice isn't backing down. I'm sure her net worth is below 4M. I could be wrong, but she can't afford that. She clearly said, I cannot afford these fees. So she's going to need help to fund all of this. This is freedom of speech at its finest. But if there is defamation here, then fair play. There is a need to clarify, stop calling me a man, I'm not one. I mean, there are easier ways to reveal that you are not a man or never have been one. But that's up for debate. Either way, this is going to court and this is costing a pretty penny. And we're looking at 218 pages of fucking defamation, lawsuit, information. That's exhaustive, you know? Exhaustive, whatever the word is. And all I can keep seeing in my head during this whole time is the way in which Macron got slapped in the face on the plane that day. That's all you need to know about Macron. When your wifey slaps you in the face like that, tells me everything I need to know about you, especially when I already had preconceived notions. It's beautiful. It is what it is. That's all we're going to do today. Highlight that and move the fuck on. Next. Now, let's dive into Proto Rig and Proto Fleet. Announcements earlier this year introduced Proto's Rig and Fleet as part of a new paradigm in Bitcoin mining hardware and software. The Rig refers to next generation mining machinery, while Fleet is advanced mining management software. This is gorgeous because this week we had the unveiling of a gorgeous piece of decentralized mining hardware, which is now accessible with free software to match. What I will say across the board, Jack Dorsey, if you are receiving this, you are not showing up on Grok or ChatGPT as having any event this week. You're not there. Where are you? Where is he? No one seems to know about this. Now, I know this is a niche field and I have to awaken myself to the fact that, okay, we're lit over here. We're having a great time. We feel like the world knows about Bitcoin mining and all this goodness, and they don't. It's a niche field. But I'm shocked that there's nothing about it showing up. Even with all the tweets that have come out on X, you would think that the algorithm would feed you some intelligence on it, and that's a bit of a shame. So we're going to monitor that. That is one of the red flags I see, like, okay, hold on. We want to make sure that the algorithm is genuinely reflecting what the output is, and you would at least expect on the Everything app for it to feed you some kind of narrative about Proto, because we're tweeting about it. There's conversations being had about it. Grok knows how to pull intelligence. So we're going to monitor that development of Grok a little bit more and see if he can strengthen up and hold the weight. Or then we're going to start asking some deeper questions about how the weight is then distributed, okay? Not only that, whilst I'm screaming, we're not going to get too sidetracked, but in relation to Grok and OpenAI, I'm outrightly saying Grok is outperforming OpenAI in my opinion at this time. I say that more strongly because I've seen ChatGPT come out the gate with a 5 and I was expecting bigger things and it's fallen flat for me. I know they're making improvements over the next few days and there's going to be more seamless kind of improvements supposedly, Sam has said. But to be honest, just on a quick grab, on a basic search as well, because we just need to look at the basics and the framework, the infrastructure of what's really going on with these systems. Grok's really giving. It's outperforming. I'm not doing all these super scientist tests. This is just the hermitologist running off her own brain and experience. And I'm saying I can see the outperforming capacity of Grok already at 4. sexy, powerful piece of kit, period. Yeah? So at the end of the day, when it comes to Proto, we're going to get back to it. First and foremost, let me gush over it. The Proto backdrop and the symbolism that comes from blocking, sensational. It's powerful, it's vibrant, it's new world. It's just what I like to see. It excites me about technology. It excites me about this dystopia, utopia, immersive on-offline world that we live in. Everything under block is so just sexy, empowering. There's this new world vibration that is so ethereal and rich and positive, and it's just so, this is the way. Period. This is the way. This is the way. This is the way. Put "this is the way" in the comments if you know this is the way. The truth of the matter is, I try not to get too gangster in this arena when it comes to this, because it just takes me to that place internally. When I tweeted about this, I couldn't even be overly professional and dive into the analytics and the deep-rooted systemization of it, because I was too busy screaming mad ting, brazy, this is crazy, this is exquisite, this is divine. I was umming at the sight of the hardware and the hashboard. Beautiful. We are looking at hardware that hasn't yet been commercialized, that hasn't yet been streamlined, affordable, economic. It is versatile. The renewables of it is where we're bringing down cost on the product. Do you know how many people build their own mining rigs? Yeah? The culture has been build your own rig, and we've got Bitcoiners over there with their fucking mattress and nothing else in their house, over them pieces of rig all over the place, building these systems, and they're spinning out and hovering and stinking and blowing and buzzing. Now we've just got this sexy, simple piece of hardware that goes, This is evolution, people. This is indeed the way. Jack Dorsey has just decided to confirm he is indeed the GOAT here. Yeah, one of those moments. We're here, guys. We are indeed here. It's gorgeous as well. I like the ideology of Proto Fleet. I think it's sexy with the evolution that we're in now in regards to out beyond the common line space, the ideology of a fleet. It's just really, really refreshing. The software looks really, really nice as well. It's easy. The user interface, the way it's all managed. Now, there's a lot to be discussed about the future of Bitcoin mining and mining rigs. But what I will say, to keep it really, really brief, is on my timeline on X, there's a piece from Bill Gates this week where he talks about him foreseeing a computer being in everybody's home. And what I foresee is a proto rig, a mining rig being in everybody's home. This is where we're stepping to. This is where we start to make liberatory strides in technology. This is I wanted to say the leap, but it doesn't feel like a leap. It feels like a strut. It feels like a stroll. It feels like a standard walk into a new era. And that is where more and more people now start moving into mining. The mining space is becoming commercialized, and it is opening up a portal for liberation for so many builders. These are digital tools that have never really received a commercialized generative capacity for usage. And it's not only providing that, on top of that, it's providing this economical, renewable approach that just makes sense. Simple, sensible tech. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And while we're on the note of talking about Proto and Rig, which falls underneath block, it only makes sense for us to just really quickly tap in to the goodness of XYZ. on the following data, we have a gross profit of 2.54 billion, up on 14% year over year. We've got adjusted operating income of 550 million, up 38% year on year, with a record 28% margin. We've also got adjusted earnings per share at 0.62. Revenue, 6.5B, down 2% from 16.16B year over year. Net income at 538.5M, or a 0.87 per share, more than doubled from a 195.3 million, or that 0.31 per share year over year. We're seeing a beautiful, stable incline. When it comes to Square gross payment volume as well, we're looking at a 64.B, up 10% year over year. Cash App GPV 2.3B. Cash App gross profit 1.5, we're up 16% year over year. Square gross profit 1B, up 11% year over year. Commerce volume 183 billion over the last 12 months, 16% year over year. Borrow originations 18 billion in annualized originations. Bitcoin transaction 58B. In buy and sell transactions, Bitcoin holdings purchased 108 BTC in Q2, boosting holdings to 8,692 BTC, valued at over $1 billion. Yeah? The guidance here is Q3 2025 gross profit expected at 2.6B, up 16%, with an 18% adjusted operating income margin. Full year 2025 gross profit raised to 10.17B. That's another 14% year over year. We've also got a full year 2025 adjusted operating income expected at 2B, with a 20% margin on that. It is beautiful. It is lovely. I say that because we're in an era where corporations are really decentralizing. The corporations we want to see flourish are decentralized corporations with loads of pieces. And what I love most about Block is the way that the strings are open and closed, and we have this gorgeous brain, brains in the ideology of string theory. It's super sexy. Super strings are flapping in the wind, and it is bringing in B. And not only that, it is bringing in pretty much a minimum of 10% up year over year. And it's a yes from me. Period. Next. Do you know what else is a yes from me? Ethereum. Ethereum. Ooh, I love Ethereum. Ooh. Yes, Ethereum hits 4,400. Ethereum is cruising. It has buoyed by technological strength and bullish sentiment. While not quite setting a new all-time high, analysts are keeping an eye on whether ETH can break through this resistance soon. No confirmation of a firm new high this week, but we are indeed close. We are indeed climbing, and we are really excited about it. It's the fact that decentralization pays. I like that. We're going to pin that. We're going to nourish that, and we're going to nurture that ideology. Decentralization pays. Decentralization pays. Decentralization pays dividends, yeah? It's about understanding what falls underneath Ethereum. What does the EVM run on. And that's the beauty of decentralization, because it's a minefield. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous digital arena full of coin and currency, DeFi, dApps. It's sensational. DeFi, guys. Okay, DeFi. Just for the annoying people out there that notice that. Nonetheless, there are amazing, and I tell you, the Everything app is incredible at really providing, and everyone who has accounts out there underneath Ethereum, they're always bouncing around in my algorithm and they're popping up and I'm like, oh, this is another piece of Ethereum. This is under the EVM. It's gorgeous. It's nice. It's refreshing. It's creative. It's just popping and fly and epic. And I know I scream Coinbase and Brian. Brian was out on the timeline this week. His head was looking shinier than ever. I could see my prophecy glowing off the top of it. Sensational. But he's not the only one doing sensational things. Base doing amazing things. Coinbase doing amazing things. But there's a whole network of amazing creators. So we're going to acknowledge that. Maybe we'll come back in time and discuss that. And we're still going to address those NFTs as well, okay? Now, Google recently issued its largest ever bug bounty. I am obsessed with bug bounties at this time. I think they're hot. I think they're amazing. I think they're inspiring. I think they bring the grey hat into the field where we haven't really had a chance for hackers and black hats to come into the arena and make some clean money, do something positive for the network. Cyber security, cyber warfare. We want to get these kind of people out. If I could hack and be a bad boy hacker, I would be. So this is kind of fetish. It's like, damn, all these people out here just hacking away in a legal way. Yeah, her tech. We support it. We're here for it, right? Now, I will actually say I don't believe that is the largest single bug bounty reward by Google. Because actually I've just seen approximately 500,000 UK pounds in 2022 for a critical vulnerability in the Android mobile operating system. So that's not the strongest headline we're leading with, but I guess clickbait's a real thing today. But not only that, let's just tap into what happened here. We're looking at a reward for critical Chrome sandbox escape flaw. This was the CVE 2025 4609 that allowed remote code execution. This bug, reported in April 2025 and patched in May 2025, was discovered by a researcher named Mickey and was notable for bypassing multiple security layers in the Chrome browser. This reward supposedly is the highest for Google's Chrome bug bounty program. Okay, so there has been rewards prior to the bounty program, which I assume is this higher markup here of $500,000 in 2022. But the program is really initiating this. The Google's vulnerability reward program in 2024 distributed a total of 11.8 million to 660 researchers. Beautiful. I live for that. With key payouts including 3.4 million for 337 unique Chrome vulnerabilities and 3.3 million for Android and Google mobile application flaws. The program's maximum rewards were increased, offering up to 3,000 for critical mobile app vulnerabilities. It shows you the strength and power of technology, and it shows a nice period of space and time where distribution is really starting to go down into these more decentralized places. And it suggests being a unique dever, creator, miner is going to have unique benefits. And economically, there's opportunity and advancements that are really coming from unique algorithm construction, unique coding capability, understanding system and machine, man and machine, you know? So really, really exciting times ahead, and well done Google for creating something really fucking sick and then flipping its head on hacking and ideologies of the roles we all play here in relation to the system at B, you know? Now, new music alert. Florence the Machine The Lungs album has a deep-rooted place in my heart chakra. I love Florence The Machine, and there has been a teaser on the timeline of new music coming. I can't wait. I'm overly excited. So stay tuned if you are a real music fan and you like the rock band Florence and the Machine. Stay tuned. Something's dropping and it's going to be juicy and exciting. And if you don't know, get to know. Go and listen to the Lungs album. Dog Days Are Over, and the rest of the badness that exists on that album, guys. Oh, I cannot wait. Now, let's dive into Trump and Putin, the beast moment, and what really happened in Alaska. Now, I pinned this earlier in the week and I thought I can't wait to dive into this. I thought this was going to be a lengthy piece. It isn't, is it? Because beyond a Air Force One arrival, red carpet on the tarmac, a very sensational display of two crafts and their red carpets to signalise coming together, what did we really get? My understanding is no agreements were reached regarding Ukraine or the ceasefire, and the meeting ended without any subsequent outcomes. So, propaganda, I say. Circling around, I say. This is a serious issue. I'll be a bit more serious. Because, I mean, there was a conversation about how when Trump was last president and he met with Kim Jong-un, he didn't even get into the beast, the limousine, with him. And the legal team were like, no, we don't want you to get into the beast with him. We don't want you too close. We do often see there's always a guard around Putin, and anyone who even touches Putin gets a little too close, a little too much breath in the face. You see the guard coming close, and Putin's always like, don't worry, mate, I've got it. Just hold on. Like, because the team around him are very much trained to go. You can see the go time on the security around Putin. So it's really, really interesting. The signifying moment for me is the limousine moment that we'll never know about. That's exciting to me because I know that Trump is a gangster. Do you see his gangster walk on the red carpet? There were jokes that he couldn't walk straight, but he's a gangster. Obviously, he's going to lean and step and bounce to the left and bounce to the right. Have you seen the ICE advert on the Homeland Security X account? When did Homeland Security advertise gangster rap to represent one of their departments? It's the baddest advert I've ever seen, and it's for ICE. So imagine that. Go and check that out. They're blowing up over there. Talking about I don't show up without my weapon. You know, serious shit coming in. This is new world conversation. This is gangster vibration. Do you see the car they advertise in that as well? I'll throw a little clip in here for you. Real gangster shit coming from Trump. So you know when Trump got into that beast, he was on beast mode. As soon as he got into that limousine, what do you think he done? Looked straight at Putin and said, cut the crap. What we doing? This shit needs to change. What do you want? Like, you know, the negotiations and the conversation was raw and real and straight to the point. But we've still come out without anything here. So it's a serious conversation of what the future holds. And I will say, when I first started coming into this arena and putting on my big girl pants and saying, I'm going to dive into these issues and not be a pussy about it, the lasers that Russia have been developing and the war prospects that North Korea and Russia have been instigating, China and their cyber evolution of warfare as well, it has really just been picking up, and it's very, very scary. So we don't know what the future's going to hold. It isn't a great sign to see that there is no real negotiations there. The Ukraine thing is just one element, you know? And not only that, we've also got Trump and Iran, yeah? A lot of issues there too. So we've still got issues across the board in other locations. India's in a right state of affairs as well, and has been for a long time. We've got stuff going on in Pakistan, Bangladesh. We've had a lot of issues in Sri Lanka for many years now, economic crisis wise. We've got real issues in Pakistan with the digital arena. And for me, I've been seeing Pakistan to be one of the first ever blacked out digital states. Like, they're going to go fully black, I think, and that's a bit worrying. From my understanding, the pull away from Microsoft as well. I haven't deep dived into that. What we'll do next week is we'll do a regional check, because I haven't really dived into other locations. We'll do a cyber war check. How about that? Yeah, hit the like if you think we need a little cyber war debrief. Dare I say pre-brief? On a much lighter note, let's talk about the beautiful Black Scotsman. Can we break stereotypes of what people from different races can do? America are flawed. They are shocked. There is a black man. He has dreadlocks and he speaks Scottish. He's actually Scottish. Can you believe it? My goodness. It's real. People do exist. We are British. The United Kingdom does include Wales and Scotland, not just the mucky South Londoners, right? So there's loads of different ways in which people speak, and it's beautiful and it's nice, and I just like the fact that that story's getting traction. I think it's really, really empowering, and it's really, really funny, and it's just everyone loves a Scotsman in a kilt, and it's just quite cute. And you gotta love social media when it brings difference together and sheds light on diversity. So hell yeah to that. But then let's dive in a little bit to the TikTok regulations, which appear to be contradictory across AI search engines, because there isn't clarity. Some are saying this isn't a real thing, this hasn't happened, but then the others are going, wait, no, community guidelines are a thing, and they are coming into effect September the 13th, 2025. Everyone can agree that Trump has extended the keeping TikTok alive in the US until September the 17th. He's repeatedly extended this, but no one was really too sure, apart from Grok churned something out at the end saying September the 13th, there are new community guidelines coming in. And these community guidelines were screaming a lack of free speech, and there are clearer language and instructions coming in regards to rules at a glance, basically. So you can do this, you can't do this, you can do this, you can't do that. For example, you can't use AI generated stuff anymore. As a live influencer, there's certain things you can't say. If it's not on the TikTok shop, you can't just advertise other brands. Like, they're locking you into being someone on the platform and a professional, I guess. Do you know what's interesting? Well, I'm not going to go into all the specifics. You can Google it yourself, guys. But it covers enforcement and transparency, compliance, in regards to the online safety bill as well, misinformation and bullying, regulated goods and services, personalized experiences, live creator responsibilities, AI generated content, and much clearer language and structure across the whole platform in how the user must present. Okay, this is because we're now in an era where the employee must follow the job description, and as the text built itself and created influencers as employees, now you need to follow your workplace code of conduct. That's where we're at. So the TikTok shop has specific expectations per region. We're looking at roles of gambling, alcohol, tobacco, drugs, firearms, other kinds of weapons, and then being presented on the platform, what that means, conversations you can have, branding you can't represent. Like, they're really trying to make, you're basically wearing a uniform without wearing a uniform when you step up to perform on TikTok now. you know, and they're willing to shut your shit down in any way they see it fit and potentially never open it again. And for a long time, they've been playing with you on that For You page, because when they don't like what you're doing, they'll pull you from the For You and you can fight for your right to get back, but then they'll also just keep you off of it for good now. They're saying potentially, with the amount of users that we've got, if you're not going to follow regs, we'll just kick you off and you won't get back. You can't appeal, you know? And that's something I noticed early on in research with Instagram as well. Every now and then Instagram's just going to pull you for the For You, yeah? The domination, the expectation, and the need for you to be discovered is on these explore pages and the FYP. So they're just basically screaming, we'll limit your reach, we'll shut you down. And this isn't something that's new. They've been doing this for donkeys, yeah? This is old as time. It's just now they're putting it into written form, making it clear to you, this is what we're doing. Because in the early stages of this evolution, there weren't guidelines of who we do or don't downgrade, or what it takes to be a good actor versus a bad actor, a good user versus a bad user. So they're defining that in rule book regulatory frameworks now, and they're providing us with some of their front end public expectations of the user. So yeah, everyone on TikTok is now really an employee, and they must follow the job description that they have built a following based off. So this is the new world, you know what I mean? You've got to grab a job somewhere, guys, so do what you got to do, I guess. Now let's deep dive into the crypto king. Crypto entrepreneur Kwon pleaded guilty to 2 counts of fraud in Manhattan federal court for his role in the collapse of Terraform Labs, TerraUSD, and Luna in 2022. Now, the crash collectively worth around 40 billion, yeah? Big deal. This was crypto winter nightmare for many of us, off the back of the FTX as well, the Sam Bankman-Fried saga as well. So as part of this plea deal now, he'll forfeit over 19 million. And he's facing sentencing in December, potentially up to 12 years in prison, and will likely be deported from the US. Now, in the early 2020s, Kwon stood atop the cryptocurrency world as this daring co-founder of Terraform Labs. Terraform was all the rage at one point as well. He boosted that his algorithmic stable coin, TerraUSD, could always hold its $1 peg through a self-stabilizing mechanism dubbed the Terra Protocol, right? Now, investors, retail traders, and institutional funds alike flooded in, pouring money into UST and its sister token Luna. During their combined market cap into the tens of billions. This was a real wave in the crypto arena. But then came May 2022. The Terra Protocol faltered, or so claimed Kwon, causing UST to plunge far below its promised peg. But it wasn't just algorithms at play. Hidden behind the scenes, one had arranged for a high-frequency trading firm to artificially prop up UST, creating a misleading illusion of sustainability. Fraud, yeah? Sorry, guys. The deception worked. Investors believed the system had rebounded and poured in more capital. Fraud. Then, disastrously, the entire structure collapsed. UST and Luna imploded, wiping out around 40 billion in value and triggering a broader crypto winter. This is where I came alive. This is where I found my purpose. So I've got to be grateful for incidents like this. But my goodness me, it was the most painful evolution I ever had. And I wasn't even in the field with crypto like that. I just came in as this oversight wizard and understanding that everything I do is mechanic based. It's not the capitalism for me. It's the social values. It's the mechanics. It's the quantum mechanics. It's the future I was looking at. And I was absolutely flabbergasted at what I was seeing and the effects on the population. The ecosystem of crypto was just unfathomable. I've never seen anything like it. And at the time it was incredibly painful for me. Empathically, I'm still hugging trees in my spare time. I'm deeply connected with love and light, and I'm looking at a whole load of tech, crypto, blockchain, mining, devers, broken, struggling, and the whole economy is on collapse. Over the months that followed this, Kwon evaded authorities until March 2023, when he was apprehended in Montenegro for travelling on a forged passport. Fraud, yeah? His extradition battle ended with his arrival in the US in late 2024. And do you know what's most interesting? I know most of you guys will like, stop screaming fraud, it's uncomfortable for my chakras. But the truth of the matter is we have to identify it, and it sets the precedence for what has existed in the crypto arena before the collapse of Luna, Terra, Forma, and FTX, because before that it was an open play space for crypto bros to act up, CZ included. Everyone knew what they were doing and what they were up to, and they've all had to take responsibility for their actions now. That's why the field's changed so much, and that's why I always back my boy Gary Gensler, the star of the show here week to week, keeps pulling up, because someone had to pull up and go, whoa, hold on here, this ain't legit. Because in this story with Kwon, we can clearly see fraud. How many times have I said it? Fraudulent passport. He's artificially propped up UST to create an illusion that the coin is stable, and it isn't. He's also made outlandish claims that he can hold a $1 peg. He can't. Yeah? Serious stuff. We want to be able to have stable currency and feel secure in what we're creating here. And it's devastating to see the collapse of so many currencies and miners, crypto enthusiasts, everyone in the space, you know? If you're rich and you're up and you're uppity up, it's fine. You're going to make a loss and you'll bounce back. But those certain people lost everything because of this as well. Lost the desire to ever trade again and pull up to the arena. And they wiped out a lot of people. If there was, in the era where everyone was promoting coin, you're promoting currency here, and that currency's collapsed. That's people's mortgage. That's people's life payments. People have been homeless and lost everything they've had because of this. So, and it's fraudulent as well. So we've got to look at that. It's devastating. Yeah? The fact is, it's devastating. It was real sad to witness this evolution. So he initially pleaded not guilty to a sweeping 9-count indictment, including securities, commodities, wire fraud, conspiracy, and more. A civil trial had already found him liable for deceiving investors, and he'd agreed to a massive 4.5 billion SEK settlement with an 80 million personal fine. Oh, ATM on the personal fine. Oh. And a lifetime crypto. Oh, a lifetime crypto ban. Are you joking me? Are you joking? Please, next. It's disaster. This is what you call disastrous. Okay. But the turning point came in August 2025. In a Manhattan courtroom, dressed in a stark yellow jumpsuit and shackles, check out the images, Kwon reversed course. His defiant not guilty plea vanished as he admitted guilt, expressing remorse. He said, "What I did was wrong, and I want to apologise for my conduct." He pleaded guilty to 2 criminal counts, 1 conspiracy to commit fraud, and 2 wire fraud as part of his plea deal. My goodness, everyone's out here taking a plea, because what else can you do when you fucked up the economy like this, you know? Under the agreement, prosecutors will recommend a maximum sentence of 12 years in prison, because he doesn't want a Bankman-Fried sentence. Do you get what I mean? That's 25. My goodness. Although the statutory ceiling remains 25 years, one also agreed to forfeit over 19 million. With sentencing set for December the 11th, we'll keep an eye on that. As part of the deal, US authorities signalled they may support a request for one to serve part of his sentence abroad after completing half of it, okay? If he isn't, we know what Trump's on. We've spoken about ICE, so if wherever his original origin is, Trump will make sure he gets sent there, because, or he'll be in Alligator Alcatraz, because that's a real thing. Hello, Gotham City, dystopia's here, you know? So that's quite crazy. Now we're going to finish this awesome party with a real quick, snappy, deep dive into NFT and rug pulling financial market scams of the 2025. Let's dig in, guys. Okay, we're diving into the wild, vibrant world of NFTs and non-fungible tokens in 2025. Buckle up for a ride through the current market, its pulse, and where the tech is headed, all with a glimpse at the quantum wave function of its future. Yeah? So how's the NFT market doing in 2025? They're implying it's a phoenix rising from the ashes of 2021, 2022. They're saying it was a hype bubble that we were in, which is true because the economy was spinning out. We was all struggling financially after the collapse of these currencies and the frauds and the rug pulls, and there was a hype around NFTs. NFTs were bouncing off the walls. It was all really exciting, right? The global market hit 29.96 billion last year, and this year it's projected to climb to 34 to 61 billion. With a trajectory towards 212 to 247 billion by 2033. I want to say cap on that, to be honest. That's brazy figures. But the space, do you know what? No, pause. I'll pause. Let me know what you think in the comments. That's a compound growth rate of up to 41.9%. But do you know what? When you hear what's next, you understand the potential is there, because we're talking about that immersion. We're talking about mad, crazy, brazy immersion. I forget what we're all doing here and what we're building. I should be screaming NFTs more. But for me, NFTs and the ideology, if that starts to fall away, and the hype bubble of what NFTs were in 2021, 2022 to me, it moves and it just becomes reality. This is a piece of what I own. Just looks sexy in the format you're looking at it in, you know. We're removing that facade. Remember all this blockchain mining as well, and the reality of mining, and the idea that we're all going to have our own rig in our house going shifts the game entirely about how we perceive these pieces of tech and how we use digital assets, yeah? So over 17 million wallets are active monthly, up 47% from last year. That's a big boy growth, we will say that, with the US leading at 41% of transaction volume. Millennials are the top collectors, and platforms like OpenSea and Magic Eden are bustling with 2.4 and 1.5 million users respectively. Ethereum still rules with 62% of transactions. What was that? Who's that? Ethereum, yeah. You heard that correctly, yeah, Ethereum. But Solana and Polygon are catching up fast. So what's driving this? Should we do a pop quiz this time? What is driving this? Put it in the comments. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is utility, guys. Utility. Forget the JPEG flipping days. 95% of those old collections are dead. Today, NFTs are about real world value. Gaming NFTs dominate with 38% of the market. Think owning your own lightsaber in Star Atlas Galaxy. Real estate NFTs worth 1.4 billion. Let you own a slice of virtual or physical property. Music NFTs are rocketing 520 million in revenue. giving artists direct fan connections. And don't sleep on identity NFTs, 12 million issued for digital IDs and credentials as well. So growth is real nice. Figures are very high, and I know it's 2033 with that prediction, but we're going to have to go in here, aren't we? I feel really far removed. I feel like this conversation is a chrono layer. I want to get to the source. We're going to have to micro in on all of this and dive in, because I want to see who's leading in the music arena. Let me know if you know any of this stuff, guys. Share your intelligence, yeah? Who's leading the real estate arena then? Who are the key players in these fields? I need to know them. Gaming NFTs, who's the leader? We can see that Ethereum's setting pace, dominating the decentralization of it all, but I want to see how they're marketing this, how this is being sold, how this is being promoted. For example, in fashion, we've got Nike's Crypto Kicks, and they're really trying this digital token for real sneaker trend, and that seems to be doing all right as well. So there's beautiful things happening across the field. It's not all smooth sailing. Liquidity is a pain. Many NFTs have thin floors, meaning low bids and tough exits. Scams like rug pulls persist, though decentralized storage like Arweave and AI fraud detection are fighting back, yeah? But high minting costs and regulatory grey zones, those grey areas, I tell you, especially for fractalized NFTs, keep things tricky. We are evolving. We are getting through it. These legal acts in the US are paving the way. We are opening doors. But once again, globally, there are differences and issues, okay? Because we've got EU and Michael. We've got the UK and their regulations. UK can't even get promotions. Like, you can't even promote crypto in the UK. And we haven't got futures either. It's devastating, the limitation we have across the field, region to region. We need liberation in those areas. It makes it so unfair. This is me getting gassed up, but if you get it, you get it. When it comes to human rights and liberatory rights and what we should all be able to be entitled to, it feels wrong to know that the US have economic rights that I don't have. I don't like that ideology. I feel like it's unjust. And I feel like we're all humans on this planet, and we should all have a right to have the same access economically, the same economic opportunity. Yeah? And that's not available in regards to futures and promotions in the same way it is in the US. And I guess that's life. I'm talking about it from a really right perspective. On the left, we've got people starving to death and war and famine and homelessness. So it's still a cycle of that, and it's kind of just us understanding how our laws, legislation, systems and practices, protocols included, can be better liberated around the world, and how we work together, bipartisanship, AI summits, to improve these spaces that are undefined for certain regions. Yeah, so solutions are emerging. We do have layer 2 chains like Arbitrum, right? Cut fees to pennies, and regulations like the EU's MiCA are clarifying the game. Now let's collapse the wave function. What's the future of NFTs? Picture this. By late 2025, NFTs are woven into daily life. I don't see it yet, but we're diving in. I'm a bit, I want more. It's never enough immersion for me. I'm a nerd, I'm obsessive, I'm controlling, I'm a perfectionist. So I like the idea that by late 2025, NFTs are woven into daily life. But you speak to the mass pop and they don't know what an NFT is. So how are we really doing that, you know? Starbucks loyalty points, NFTs for concert tickets, NFTs for your digital ID. Yep, an NFT. For the metaverse, think Decentraland or AI-driven Mar Avatar. These are hotbed virtual lands, and there's all these avatars fueling the economy in these spaces. It's amazing. Bitcoin NFTs via ordinals are still gaining steam through Ethereum and Solana, who are leading the way. Cross-chain bridges like Polkadot also are making NFTs more seamlessly bridge between blockchains. Regulations are stabilizing as well, with 4.2 billion in venture capital already flowing this year. The market's maturing, focusing on real value over hype, which is really, really needed, okay? So from an econophysics lens, NFTs follow power law dynamics. Think of a few mega hits like Beeple's 69 million cell dwarfing the rest, yeah? And then if we look at agent-based models, show collectors, speculators, and creators interacting in a complex dance with strong communities like Bored Ape Yacht Club, for example, really create a defining factor between stable value and those weak ones that crash, basically. Liquidity traps are real, but innovation like NFT staking for fungible tokens are unlocking new paths. So the opportunities are there. It is about the branding. It is about the marketing. It is about the push, the momentum and the drive behind the coin. It is about understanding the econophysics lens. It is about understanding the agent-based models of the ecosystem and the release of the NFT, along with whatever you are building that off the back of. Cross-chain bridging, incredibly important. Ethereum, Solana, Polkadot, meme coins, whatever you're using to run this evolution, and the shift of that as well, because we say meme coins and then we think about Ethereum and the EVM specifically in relation to that, and then we also think about Base and Coinbase and their ability to revolutionize that as well. And then I've got so many other things I think about when it comes to massive corporations like Amazon, for example, and the future that they really hold in the arena. So beautiful overview of the NFT space. Really ground yourself in what you want to represent digitally on and offline, and how to make that fungal move in that direction, right? And that's that. We're going to quickly dive into a little scam report, I guess, and then we will be done. Let's navigate the highs, lows, and shady corners of the global financial scene. Now, the financial markets in 2025 Q3 are buzzing, with global equities up 12% year to date and crypto markets rebounding to a 3.2 trillion cap. But scams remain a dark cloud in the field, okay? In crypto, rug pulls and fraud dominate, with 5.9 billion lost across the Web3 ecosystem. That is a 6,500% surge from Q1 2024. Now, we've got the Mantra Network rug pull on Polygon alone drained 4.8 billion, marked by suspiciously low wallet activity. 64 unique wallets at its peak across broader markets. Financial scams like phishing and Ponzi schemes cost 1.2 billion, with 70% targeting retail investors. Yeah, so it's just making a point here. We're going to dive in a little bit more to the Mantra Network rug pull on Polygon, but we're talking about a lot of people, mainly the mass pop that are less uneducated or anyone new into the arena. They're always thrown into the crypto conversation of Ponzi schemes, and phishing keeps popping up again and again as a conversation in this arena, and the financial scams across the board are on a very high increase. It's a lot of money. So it's worth us keeping an eye on this, understand the roles that we play in this, and it's up to us on our own intelligence. And we've got to understand the legislators in this space are really new. Yeah, this is a really new field, and the evolution of it is just one to be part of. Yeah, don't expect a cure or something not to just collapse or break down. You need to be active in the fucking field to not be mugged off, in the British sense of things, to not get scammed here. So San Francisco's Financial Crimes Unit reports a spike in phone scams and identity theft as well, often posing as IRS or utility reps, costing victims $50 million locally, okay? So this is a bit of a snapshot of on-offline and different financial scams. So stay with me as we weave it towards the digital, but we're honing in a little bit on everyday fucking embezzlement, if we're being honest, okay? So rug pulls aren't just crypto's problem. In traditional finance, pump and dump schemes hit penny stocks, with 300 million in losses from microcap frauds on OTC markets. These involved hyped up shell companies that collapse after insiders sell, leaving retail investors with pennies, yeah? Everyone's playing around in the fraud arena. Let's say it like that, shall we? A notable case here is a San Francisco law firm's ex-CFO embezzled 1.3 million, funneling funds through fake accounts, a classic soft rug in corporate finance. Crypto-specific scams like ProBeefi, 1.5 million NFT mint vanish, or G-Funk's Pixel Vault token swap mirror these tactics, exploiting hype and trust, okay? So that was ProBeefi and G-Funk's Pixel Vault, both up to some dirty minting tricks and token swapping, exploiting the user, exploiting the miner, right? Insignificant losses, those under 10,000 per investor, are widespread but underreported, yeah? Because who are we reporting this to? What's the return here? How do we recover from these kind of events as well, right? In crypto, small-scale NFT and meme coin scams, often on Binance Smart Chain, affect thousands, with 75% of projects unaudited. That's concerning, isn't it? Those numbers are high. I always kind of bitch a little bit about Binance, and this is why. It's that 75% of projects unaudited that create these kind of issues. And sorry, but I come from the ghetto. 10k is a lot of money. So when you get into the crypto arena, shit changes. But to just lose 10k and just not even report it because we haven't even got the right intelligence or portals, connects, ways to go to manage this shit, it's unfortunate and it's sad and people suffer. And obviously the crypto arena is quite male dominated, and men have egos, humongous egos. Sorry to stereotype, but they do. And they don't want to own their losses, and if they're financially struggling, they're not going to want to say it. You know? And it just eats away at you a little bit, and suicide is highly increased in men and underreported as well. So the struggle of man financially struggling, when man, especially crypto ego man, crypto bro man, struggling financially and not wanting to address that, you can only imagine the side effects on that. And that is why ecological well-being is really important to what we do at Hermitology as well, because it's not nice, and we need better mechanics, reporting mechanics, supporting mechanics. And luckily Hertech is really paving the way in really new ways, and the future's bright, but it's far away, you know. In traditional markets, low-level phishing scams via email or SMS, like fake bank alerts, net 5 to 10 million monthly, but rarely make headlines due to their fragmented impact. These hit retail investors hardest as well, especially under 35s, who make up 63% of victims. Tools like Scam Advisor or Sex Investor Alerts can help spot these early, but there's not enough of them, yeah? Bitcoin's 1 billion liquidation crash after US Treasury nixed new BTC buys, shaking confidence, is linked in here as a thing, so you can dive into that a bit more. Ethereum's ETF surged, with BlackRock leading the charge, signaling a shift to institutional crypto as well. That's been addressed, a lot of conversation around that. Real estate scams are trending too, with San Francisco's office market vacancy hitting 34.8%. as fake property deals exploit desperate investors. This is new to me. Don't know a lot about fake property deals. That's a whole new layering of exploitation, and I'm going to dive into that from an NFT perspective as well, because that sounds concerning. Yeah, the exploitation of that could be a lot grander when we look at it from an NFT digital space, and we look at a property in new on offline ways as well, which we are developing at HerTech as well. So worth noting that. Meanwhile, CoinLaw reports crypto frauds 6.7 billion toll since 2020, with Meta Yield's farm 290 million rug pull stealing the spotlight. The narrative here: markets are maturing, but scams are getting bolder, and that is the way of the world. Everyone's evolving at the same rate. So once the systems evolve, the scammer and the technique to deceive and decept and outdo is also going to be node to node, mirror to mirror, link to link, script to script, code to code. Yeah? So we're going to run through a few notable rug pulls and scams in 2025. Let's pull back on that mantra network under Polygon's blockchain. Details of that include a DeFi project that collapsed, allegedly costing investors $5.52 billion, 92% of the $6 billion total rug pull losses in 2025. Ooh, 92% of the $6 billion total rug pull losses in 2025 under Mantra Network. The OM token plummeted from $6.35 to 0.37 after 17 wallets transferred 43.6 million tokens. That's a total of 227 million at the time. 2 exchanges. Damn. Now, the red flags in this situation is low user engagement. So there's a peak of 64 unique active wallets in December 2024, then erratic transaction patterns, unverified smart contracts. That's why we got all this legislation now with SEC. You lot were hating on Gary, but he was trying to prevent this shit, you know? Founders deny rug pull allegations. Of course they fucking do. But the impact of this is the largest single scam of 2025, shaking trust in DeFi, you know? Not only that, Meta Yield Farm. Details of this: DeFi project that drained 290 million from 14,000 investors, promoted as offering high yield farming. It vanished after liquidity was removed. So we just outrightly overhyped a coin, the red flags of it all, fake partnershiped it, and it was anonymous developers, and in that same space of time, we've drained 290 million from over 14,000 investors. The impact of this is a significant retail investor losses and highly vulnerable yield farming schemes identified now. Then we got a baby Musk coin. Now, the details of this is a meme coin that disappeared shortly after launch, stealing 5.5 million through a manipulated token dump. Red flags of this: lack verified smart contracts. Again, that lack of verification on the smart contract, and heavy social media promotion on Telegram and X as well, all affected this small retailers, and it just reinforced meme coin risk here. Not only that, we had the Pro B Fi under the Casper blockchain. The details of this are a prediction market NFT project that raised 1.5 million in CAS token mint fees before developers vanished again. The red flags here: on-chain forensic analysis revealed suspicious wallet activity and a lack of transparency. Do you know what's a great fucking job right now? On-chain forensic analysis. We need a lot more on-chain forensic analysis, a lot more research into that field. Anyone in that field is going to come up really, really well. We should be teaching these kind of practices in university, flooding educational professionals into these on-chain forensic sectors. Really, really needed. I'm excited about that. We need that in Web3 ways, immersive ways, on offline, digital immersion ways, in mining ways, Bitcoin miners. Oh, it's nice. It's nice. Okay, either way, the impact of this is it's really eroded trust in Casper-based projects, with retail investors hit the hardest here as well. Now, what we've got to understand here in some of these instances, which is obvious to say, but I'll say it anyway, is the likes of Ethereum, which we love, and we love all these Polygon, all these projects in Casper, and who else did we speak of in this situation? Polygon. It takes away the trust from these coins, these companies, these communities, these ecosystems. It's sad to see and know that, and then it creates this misperception of the field. The field's dangerous, but when you speak to someone straight off and they go, Bitcoin's a scam, the crypto's a scam, it isn't. Definitely isn't. Guarantee you 100% it's far from that. But I can see why you would say that. And actually any single one of these motherfuckers that you've met and that's your friend, and that one friend that you have that seems to have a meme coin that they got rugged for, is telling you their story, and it's a mess. You know? So it's about education, and it's about purposeful purchasing, and it's about teaching people the way, and it's about removing that intermediary. We still got a war on our hands, and we're still waging a war between legislators and legal, taking over so much with law that the intermediary's back in the place that we don't want it to be at. That's a scary thought for me, because even in the role that I take at the School of Hermitology versus Hermitology Limited and the Hertech side of things, because we want to keep liberation so alive and free, and keep this crypto space what it was designed to be, that P2P, you know? Really, really beautiful. But there's limitations to that. There certainly is, because of this stuff. Once again, Gary Gensler, the MVP of all of this, he came here for a reason. May have not liked what he was doing, but when the net is up this high and we're screaming, B's gone again, lost more B, what are we going to do about it? Someone's got to take the hard stance and refer to the legal and the legislation here to prevent this shit, yeah? So we've also got another project here, Libra token under Solana here. The Libra token surged to a 4.56 billion market cap after social media endorsements by Argentina's president. Then it crashed 94% when the post was deleted, sparking pump and dump suspicions from the Argentina president. Serious? Red flags, sudden wallet spikes, low user activity, and reliance on celebrity hype. We've been here before, guys. We've got to stir away from this shit, right? Impact, significant losses for speculators with accusations of orchestrated dumping. Then we also have Milana Rug. Now, the details of this alleged rug pull involving a token, Milani, linked to Melania Trump, specifics are unclear, but suggest a hyped launch followed by a rapid collapse. Do you know what? I didn't go back and find out what happened with the Milana coin after the campaign. Do you see how we move on in life and forget? I forgot all about Milana's coin and Trump's coin. And I heard that Milana's coin got pulled, and I didn't do anything about it. I just got on with my day. So is that's really happened? Milana's coin's really gone and done and dusted after all of that campaign hype? Because, and what's crazy, interesting again, when we're using the AI data search, first one out of all the ones we've looked at today can't give me any specifics. I've got no details on Melania Trump and the rug pull over there. They won't show me anything. I've got not a single figure. Minimal data on this. Who's holding that back then? Here we go. Red flags, unverified claims tying the project to a high profile figure, lack of transparency. Yeah, lack of transparency is the key fucking word here. The impact of this is likely small scale, supposed. Who writ this? Who churned this out? Someone's licking ass. The system, when you can read, when the machine's licking ass, you know we've got problems. contributed to negative sentiment around celebrity endorsed tokens. Negative sentiment around celebrity. You could tell the manipulation of systems. My goodness. Okay, we're slowing down. We're nearly at the end of this. We're going to just really run through some names here. Cuba rug, Brazil rug, Peru rug, African country rug. A series of alleged rug pulls tied to tokens named after countries. That's Cuba, Brazil, Peru and Africa all got rugged under their own name, and these projects reportedly followed a pattern of hype-driven launches and sudden exits. Anonymous teams, probably a whole fucking network to be honest, but under this circumstance, but you never know. Heavy social media promotion and unverified smart accounts. Unverified smart accounts is the key concern across all of these. Small retail losses per project, but collectively eroded trust in meme coins again. Then we've got Jelly Rug, a meme coin or NFT project that collapsed after raising funds with developers allegedly dumping tokens, lack of developers transparency, and a bot-driven social media hype as well that just kind of fell flat, fucked everybody over on that one as well. Minor losses, primarily affecting speculative retail investors again. Then we have TST. Binance founder CZ. He doesn't need to be in any more trouble. CZ, you do not need any more trouble. A token linked to Binance's founder that reportedly rug pulled after a hyped launch. Unverified ties to a high-profile figure. Rapid price crash post-launch. Impact limited data, but likely affected small-scale speculators. I'm going to have to dive into this, CZ, aren't you? You're forcing me to look now. Because I do remember that I feel like CZ was hyping a coin a little while ago. CZ, was this the coin that you was hyping a while back? And then you've gone quiet again. Oh, and we forget about it. Milana and CZ, I'm coming for you. I'm going to run a background. Just to be sure. And then let's dive into the Trump coin as well, because that's on the list, believe it or not. Celebrities reigning supreme in the rug pull sector. Right, details. A token tied to Donald Trump that allegedly collapsed after a hype launch. With developers exiting. Heavy reliance on celebrity association, lack of audited contracts. Again, so we're summing up with this. The broader context of the conversation today is total losses. Crypto rug pulls caused $6 billion in losses in 2025. Yeah? Total losses, we're looking at 6B. A 6,499% increase from 90 million in early 2024, my goodness. Despite a 66% drop in frequency, you know, but 7 incidents versus 21 in 2024. Shift to meme coins. In 2025, rug pull shifted from DeFi and NFT projects to meme coins, leveraging social media hype, yeah? So they're pulling away from Ethereum because Ethereum's a massive, massive playground, not an Ethereum problem, not an EVM problem. You know Top V's working incredibly hard. Vitalik works so hard on those systems. You get what I mean? He doesn't need that negative connotation around his shit. But people will jump. Do you see the decentralization trends? And this low enough on the totem pole for it to be dark net enough in certain areas or decentralized enough for people to dive in and have limited liability on their trades and in these arenas where they get to play dirty for a little while before the legislation hits. And I don't want to be that negative actor, but I guess I'm a Karen in the space, then fuck it, I'll take it, you know. But I'd rather see a clean space where we could all flourish and it'd be more fun. And there's opportunity for dark areas where you can lose all your money. We're not going to dispute that. We'll keep dark net available to anyone who wants to go and be dark. Go and be dark then. Go over there and lose all your money. Yeah? And we'll make that an arena that is an arena, and we will not include that in sex trafficking and child abuse and other stuff like that. We're working for the balance because there are people that want to be private and incognito, and I love that for you, provided you're not a disgusting human being doing illegal stuff. But if you want to take risks in a legal way that still makes you lose money, and you know that that is not a authorized smart contract, but over here that's allowed, and you know the liability and risk to lose it all and get rug pulled in a fucking second, go and do that then, you moron. You know? Next. The sophistication of all of this is really talking about scams becoming more and more polished, with teams using professional branding and fake audits. Soft rug pulls, gradual token dumps have rose 33%, outpacing hard rug pulls as well. Real interesting as well, what I find incredibly fascinating is the ideology of rug pulls. And someone let me know, because this is a fascination of mine, this is the nerd in me. Is there a professor out there who specialises in rug pulls? Is there a white paper on the differences of rug pulls? Because this is me, but I don't know how I feel about writing white papers at this time. The ignorance, the irritation, the power of AI, the shift in the world doesn't have me white paper proofing anymore. I don't want to go down that route in my career. But do I want to read white papers about hard rug pulls, soft rug pulls, and a variety of newly invented rug pulls and case studies and different ideologies of them in line with law and case files and regional differences run across demographics and outcomes and a range of other things to really provide molecular scope in a multivariant world? Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I would really, really like. Can we get that going somehow? Do let me know. Was going to tap in on my pet peeve of the situation again. BSV. So I'm just going to... I don't like how these things just fall flat and just stay there. The criminality of some things really just ike me, and it's upsetting. It's upsetting because certain people claim to be Satoshi. And that is a real serious claim to make. And for it to end the way in which it did, and to also present fraudulent keys, and for me to be in the space early on and discover this and try to take an impartial stance between a whole bunch of billionaires coming at a lone endeavour, it really had me torn. It was a very important learning experience for me in my career. I really took it really serious, and although it's fun and I'm goofy and I do dumb shit like this, it's really important for me to understand the mechanics of the field, and that's always going to be a story and testimony that doesn't sit well with me and makes me quite upset to know to have a case study like that, basically. So red flags, to sum this up on this last piece here, is common warning signs and red flags are those unverified smart contracts, those anonymous teams, those low wallet activities, right? With that mantra, with that 46 unique wallets, and the sudden spikes in volume without organic growth. It's that lack of organic growth. If it isn't organic, get it out. Period. That's the testimony of life itself, isn't it? So traditional markets, summary is, while crypto dominates rug pull decisions, traditional finance saw pump and dump schemes in penny stocks, 300 million in losses and corporate fraud, like a San Francisco's law firm's CFO embezzling 1.3 million. What this dumbass was thinking is beyond me. You work for a San Francisco law firm and you are a CFO and you really thought embezzlement was the way after Bankman-Fried. Are you stupid? Yes, you are. So, yeah, it's a lot. It's just making a point that there's a lot going on and offline with fraud, and it's not going to stop. And we are clamping down, but more and more people are going to drive themselves into the decentralized free reign areas. And there will be a lot more spaces that are dark net and free reign. You can go over there and love your life and potentially make loads on a dark crypto net infused extravaganza, or be on a more clean, stable network where you have reliable funds. It's the offline, it's the white hat and the black hat, it's the grey hat that exists between. This is the real world. We know that all these places exist, and we want to utilize all of them. That Hermitology, I like the idea of the dark and light and the yin and yang. You can go and look at my websites and YouTube that advocate for that shit, but we got to do it right, you know. So share your thoughts and feelings about all of this, guys. This is me tapping out. Have a gorgeous rest of your day. Feel free to share more in the comments. I'll be back soon with more. Bye.